The comfort of friendship can be a beacon of light in the darkest of times. My closest confidant, Alice, had been with me through thick and thin, a source of unwavering support. As a journalist known for her relentless pursuit of truth, she was the only person I could trust with my discovery. We met at our usual spot, a quaint coffee shop tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. The aroma of brewing coffee and the murmur of hushed conversations formed the backdrop to our meeting. I laid out my findings before her. She listened attentively, her brow furrowing as she absorbed the gravity of my words. "Emma, this is massive," Alice gasped, her eyes wide in disbelief. "You have to expose him." Just as I was contemplating the path Alice suggested, a curveball was thrown my way. Councilman Davis, a powerful figure with influence that reached every corner of the city, offered me the coveted position of deputy mayor. The offer was made in his high-rise office, the city's skyline stretching behind him. "Emma," Davis began, leaning back in his plush leather chair, "your work with the mayor has not gone unnoticed. This city needs a leader like you. How would you like to be deputy mayor?" The offer came with a veiled condition, my silence. If I accepted, I would be securing my political future, but at the cost of truth and justice. The decision lay heavily on me. "Think about it, Emma," Davis said, his words carrying an ominous undertone. "This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Do you really want to throw it all away for something that might just be a misunderstanding?" I left his office with a heavy heart, the city below me oblivious to the turmoil I was in. My crossroads was here, a path to personal ambition paved with compromise or a challenging road to justice that could end my political career. Each decision carried its weight, its consequences. And the clock was ticking. The night before the town hall meeting, I was restless. My mind was caught in a whirlwind of thoughts, my decision hanging in the balance. The city slept around me, unaware of the storm that was about to hit. As morning broke, my decision was made. I chose truth over personal ambition, the people over my political career. With a heavy heart and a resolve of steel, I prepared myself for the confrontation. The town hall was buzzing with energy, people of the city gathered, waiting for the usual update on city affairs. The mayor was there, his charismatic smile captivating the crowd. As I stepped onto the stage, a sea of faces looked up at me. The familiarity of it all seemed so strange given what was about to unfold. "I stand before you today with a heavy heart," I began, my voice echoing in the grand hall. The crowd hushed, hanging on to every word. "Today, I bring forth a truth that has been hidden from us all." I unveiled the evidence of Mayor Thompson's corruption, the suspicious transactions, the dubious contracts, the trail of deception. As I narrated the intricate web of deceit, gasps filled the room, expressions of shock reflecting the gravity of my revelations. Mayor Thompson's face turned white, his charismatic facade crumbling. The security personnel escorted him away, the crowd parting like the Red Sea. His bewilderment mirrored the shock that held the city captive. The aftermath of my revelation was a surreal quiet, a city stunned into silence. As I stepped off the stage, the weight of my decision pressing down on me, I looked back at the crowd. Faces etched with disbelief looked back at me, their expressions a mix of betrayal, disappointment, and shock. The pieces had fallen, the masks had been removed. The city's hero was a fraud, and I, his protégé, had exposed him. There was no turning back now. The stage was set for a fallout that would decide the future of our city and my place in it. In the days following the scandal, the city seemed to be in a state of suspended animation. The bustling streets were quieter, the city hall eerily calm. The shock of Mayor Thompson's corruption ran deep, the roots of his betrayal touching every corner of our city. My actions divided public opinion. Some hailed me as a hero, a torchbearer of truth. They praised my courage, lauding my commitment to transparency and justice. To them, I was a beacon of hope in a dark time. Others, however, viewed me through a lens of suspicion and resentment. I was labeled a traitor, accused of tarnishing the mayor's reputation for personal gain. The vitriol was hurtful, the isolation daunting. The echo of my footsteps in the deserted city hall corridors was a stark reminder of my solitude. Throughout the turmoil, Alice remained steadfastly by my side. She used her pen to fight my battles, chronicling my journey in a series of articles that painted a detailed picture of my investigation. The headline read, "Emma, the city's watchdog." We sat in her cozy apartment one evening, the city lights twinkling in the distance. She looked at me, her eyes sincere. "Emma," she said, placing a comforting hand on my arm, "you did the right thing." Her words were a balm to my battered spirit. Slowly, I could feel the tide of public sentiment shifting. The city was starting to wake from its shock, the people beginning to see past their betrayal to the truth that lay beneath. Despite the controversy, I stood my ground, holding firm in my decision. The future was uncertain, the repercussions of my revelation still unfolding. But I knew I had made the right choice. I had chosen truth over deceit, justice over corruption. I was ready for whatever came next. The dawn of the post-scandal era was a time of reckoning. Mayor Thompson faced the consequences of his actions, his fall from grace serving as a grim reminder of the devastating effects of corruption. With him out of the picture, the city's leadership was up for grabs. I watched the proceedings from a distance, my heart heavy but resolute. I had given up my shot at the deputy mayor position, but I had gained something far more valuable: integrity and respect. However, the question of my political future loomed large. Alice broke the news over breakfast one morning. "The city council has been discussing the new mayor," she announced, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "And your name is being considered." The news hit me like a bolt from the blue. After the whirlwind of events, the prospect of becoming mayor was both daunting and thrilling. Was I ready for such responsibility? I returned to City Hall, walking through the familiar corridors. The same place felt so different. The portraits of past mayors stared back at me, their silent gaze seeming to ask, "Are you ready to lead?" As I stood in the now empty mayor's office, the setting sun cast long shadows across the room. The decision was in my hands. To accept the mantle meant stepping into a role that would change my life forever. To refuse meant choosing a quieter path, one less riddled with responsibilities and challenges. But as I looked out at the city, the bustling streets and towering skyscrapers, I realized this was my chance to make a difference, to help the city heal and move forward. I decided then, under the golden glow of the setting sun, to embrace the challenge. In the following weeks, I was sworn in as the new mayor. I stood at the podium, looking out at the sea of expectant faces. My heart swelled with a sense of responsibility and hope. As I began my speech, I promised transparency, integrity, and tireless service. "Our city has been through a storm," I proclaimed, "but it's in the storms that we find our strength. Together, we will usher in a new era of transparency and growth." With those words, a new chapter in our city's history began, one that I hoped would be marked by honesty and progress. As the applause rang out, I knew the journey ahead would be challenging, but I was ready. For myself, for the people, for our city.